When people talk about compound interest, more often than not, they talk about it working in your favor. The harsh reality is that compound interest also works against you if you're on credit cards. Today we understand the term compound interest. So when we hear these terms, tell us, what does compound interest actually mean?
Right. Compound interest, to understand compound interest, you need to first understand what is simple interest. So simple interest basically is, when you place in a deposit with the bank, let's suppose an example, $1,000, you place a deposit with the bank for a period of 1 year at a 5% rate of return, and interest is calculated per annum always. So that's 5% per annum on $1,000 will give you $50 at the end of year one. So in a simple interest contract, after 1 year, your money is worth 1,000 plus the 50 is 1,050. Conversely, in a compounding interest formula, what happens is, suppose the term is 3 or 5 years, right? And you place the deposit, same amount, $1,000 with the bank at 5% per annum, compounding now. So at the year one, your 1,000 becomes 1,050. You add the 50 back to the 1,000, so it's 1,050, and then the 5% is given on 1,050. So it keeps accumulating every year. And that's how the acceleration growth is faster than your normal simple interest.
Okay.
So people with with money that they don't want to touch, they should put it away for a couple of years and let it have a compounding effect on their capital. Yeah. So that grows really fast.
What are the benefits of this over the longer term? You mentioned 3 to 5 years. What about the longer term?
Longer term contracts will benefit the investor more because the compounding effect comes into play over a period of time, and every year the interest that you get to your capital is added on, and then that amount of the money that's available after a year, again it keeps adding. So the compounding effect really works in longer term contracts.
So in 5 years, I guess the balance is a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And 10 and 15.
Yeah, and 10 and 15 and so on. As you're asking me on the long term, how does the compounding effect comes? Let's take a larger example of a sum of money, which is say suppose $10 million. And if it's placed with the bank at about 10% per annum, that grows to $1 million. So 10 plus 1 is $11 million after year one. That then grows at again 10% compounding interest. And in a span of say 8 years, your actual $10 million doubles. So you'll have a $20 million kitty at the end of 8 years, because that's the power of compounding.
If it took somebody 10, 15 years to gain that $10 million, then I guess in the later years it's just doubling.
Absolutely.
Every few years.
That's the power of compounding. So yeah, it really benefits over a longer period of time.
We talked about compounding on a positive way and growing our money. Tell us, Tanveer, what's the impact of compound growth on debt?
Oh, that's a tough one, but yeah, absolutely. People who don't understand compounding effect on debt, they'll end up in real trouble. And I've got a live example actually. A friend of mine has built a tower in TCOM, and it costed him about 200 million dirhams. And he borrowed 75 million from the bank during recession. And eventually he paid up 50 million dirhams. 25 million was balance to be paid to the bank. And recession hit so hard, so he said, listen, I'm going to stop, I'm not going to pay now. Today, just within 2 years, his 25 million at a compounding effect from the international bank has gone up to 52 million dirhams.
Wow.
And he's really, he doesn't know what to do. So he has come up to me for advice, and I'm taking advice of different international banks. How do we work this out? Because it's an international bank and the property based in Dubai.
And this was based on the interest charged by the bank.
Absolutely.
Year in, year out.
In his contract, loan contract, the interest was 7%, but the compounding effect was 12.5%. And that's where his 25 million became 52 million. And he doesn't know what to do and where to go. So yes, on a debt, compounding effect could be detrimental.
And in such a spending culture right now, everybody in Dubai owns a credit card.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about how the compounding in interest on a credit card is also detrimental.
Right. Credit card also is, in my opinion, it's like a shark and really eats away all your savings. And people who don't understand the compounding effect on a credit card debt that they've taken, because end of the day, when you swipe a transaction, you are literally buying debt from the bank, if you don't absolutely pay it on the due date, that then multiplies compounding, and it could be really, really tough on the part. So if you don't pay up, and in my opinion, I recommend that please pay up every month to your bank. Otherwise, with the compounding effect, sky's the limit.
Well,
and you can be
buying
really
debt.
sucked into serious debt.
Well, back on a positive note,
Right.
Tell us, why is it important to start saving early?
Right. Well, again, in my opinion, I can take my example. I started at 19, and that's when I married my lovely wife. And because we started early in life, we could save for our lovely good retirement. And also, I can today afford my child's education. She's becoming a pilot in the UK, and it is very, very
Wow.
expensive.
Congratulations. And
Thank
I
you.
mean, nowadays people aren't getting married so early at 19.
Yeah.
People are getting married in their mid 30s.
Yeah.
So what's the impact of that when they start their finances?
Right. Well, they're losing absolutely good 20 years of good working life where they could have saved this kind of money and build up capital for their future use. So, I believe we should start early, and that's my message to all viewers.
And from your earlier answer, we've been talking about the compounded interest. I guess they get that extra 10, 15 years.
Absolutely,
of
that's what it is. Yeah, you start
compounding.
early, and then the compounding effect comes into play. So your capital is multiplied tenfold. So it really helps to start early.
So you seem to be an expert early starter, especially marrying so young and being forced to look at this already.
Right.
Tell us, what one piece of advice would you give to the rest of our viewers on this compound interest?
Right. Absolutely. My sincere advice to everybody who's listening or viewing this episode is please start early in life, but choose your the vehicle that you're using for your investments, because there are many fly-by-night brokers who come here and sell you investments and go away. So you need to be aware of what licenses these companies have, and please start saving early, because that's going to help you for your future retirement.
So choose carefully the product that you're
Yes.
putting it into and start
Absolutely.
early.
Yeah, absolutely.
Albert Einstein has said it. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. So who are you?